What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at MSTR, Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum, and some other charts and indicators. So overall, we have this nice trend to the upside, as you can see here, holding our upward sloping trend line. I am wondering if we're actually going to come into contact with it, which would take us around, it could take us to anywhere from 386 to maybe 400, depending on when we touch it. If we continue to just go sideways and not really break underneath this last week here, then we'd be sitting at least 400 to maybe 420 before we come into contact with the upward sloping trend line again. As you can see, it has been holding it pretty well in all of these instances. You can see all of those touches there. We've held it pretty well, and then we've touched it again over there. So it has been holding up pretty well. At the same time, we do have this downward sloping trend line that's also confluenced to help price bounce to the upside. So maybe this is the actual retest for this breakout here. As I said previously, this is a bearish pull. Initially, it was a bearish pull. It will continue to be bearish if we especially break back underneath it, retest, and then start to fall further and lose this upward sloping trend line. Then this bearish golden zone will definitely start to be in full effect. We saw it when we were pushing up here in May. We found a lot of rejection for an extended period, and we finally broke out the week of July 7th, and now we closed back inside of it. So as we continue up this sequence, it's going to be more bullish, and eventually once we break that one, then this whole golden zone will kind of just be out of the door, and we wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Along the way to the upside, when you pull a fib here, you can see that we bounced off the 382, which is a very bullish continuation of price. As you can see, we bounced here, we bounced twice off of it, and we started to move up. And then on the smaller time frame, when you zoom in on the daily, when you take it from this leg here, we are sitting at the 0.5 to the 618, which is the golden zone here. We're right on it at the moment. So we definitely don't want to lose it, because if we can continue pushing up, then that's going to continue the bullish narrative of creating higher highs and higher lows and continuing up on this sequence. As we push down, it's going to be more bearish. And if we, of course, lose the one, then this whole move is pretty much done. This bullish move is completely wiped out. I don't see that happening, but you never know, of course. But those were the three that are pretty much relevant. You have this bearish one that is still in play, this bullish one that we bounced off the 382, and then we have this shorter one here where we're sitting at the golden zone, the 0.5 to the 618. We will see if we can actually make it to the midline here, which we should more than likely find a little bit of rejection at. As you can see, it has played a pretty decent role prior, as it's acted as support and resistance along the way. And I would imagine if we come up to it again, initially at least, it should act as some kind of resistance before eventually breaking it, if we catch the momentum to really break that move, or to break that trend line. When you take a look here at Bitcoin, you can see that we had a nice move here. We got the monthly close, our highest one at 107, and this past month has been pretty bullish so far. From open, it has moved up 11.69%. From the bottom to the top, we pushed up a total of 17%, which took us to that 123 mark, found a little bit of rejection, and now we're fighting. We have 4 days left in 1 hour, and we'll see where this month closes. I do think we get incredibly bullish if we can close above this upward sloping trend line. I think we're still bullish as is, but I think that's going to increase our bullish narrative for sure. And on the weekly, we have 29 minutes. So if we can get it closed back above, so at this point or a little bit higher, that's going to be incredibly bullish as well, to open up the idea of next week retesting and then pushing up, hopefully breaking this wick at 123, and then potentially making it to this midline of this channel. So that's what we're looking at here. If we were to break that wick, then we could be touching that midline of this entire channel, which is going to be another level of resistance, of course. And I think if we can break that, then I think we can see that 143 mark. And with the 143 mark, when you look at the previous highs, as we, create some kind of bull flag and then push up higher, you can see from the breakout point, when you measure it there, to that next high before going sideways, it's about 45 to 50%. So you can see that roughly in that area. And then if you take it from this sideways consolidation, the top here before, that's like the breakout point, I guess you could say, to that next top, it's about 51%. And then if we take it from this high here, that's where the breakout point was. So from here, you measure that out, 45% currently. And actually it would take you up to about 48 because you take it up to this one. And then if we were to take it from this wick here, which would be our breakout point, I guess you could say, it's either that one or this one. So we'll take it from here. 40 takes you to 157, 45 takes you to 162, and 50% takes you to about 168. And if we take it from this one over here, it's roughly the same, but 40% is around 153, 45 is at 158, and 50 is at around 164, 163. So that's kind of where we're looking at. If we continue this same, momentum where we're gaining anywhere from 40 to 50% from the breakout levels, I'll just do a quick little line so everybody can see that. So from that breakout point to that point here, to this one here, and then to that one there. So all of these lines were where we had our breakouts at. On the lower time frame, if you were to measure out this move here, and we take it all the way to this top and we say that this is the flag portion of it and this is the pole, then if you measure that out, that takes you to right around 143. And this is definitely looking like a nice pennant. As you can see, it's pushing down, but it looks like we're trying to get a little breakout here. I mean, we have 25 minutes, so we'll see where the daily and the weekly closes at. I think that would be incredibly bullish if we can get a nice close at, 120 or something established. If we can close somewhere in this area, maybe retest this downward sloping trend line along with this upward sloping trend line, this should be confluence and hold price pretty well. This little intersection right here of price, price action, that intersection of the downward sloping trend line and the upward sloping trend line should be a lot of confluence together, along with other things, which we'll go over in videos tomorrow. That should allow price to push up higher for sure. Of course, it can always fall through, but that's going to be a lot of support if we can get a solid close up here. And when we take a look at ETH, it is actually looking very good right now. So we have this downward sloping trend line here, and we've found rejection off of it multiple times. As you can see, that you had your first one here. You could probably count this one. It's pretty close there. And then we had rejection over here. So now we are potentially going to break out. So this one here actually closed outside of it. Maybe I could draw it a little bit differently, and maybe that would make more sense. We'll see. So if I were to draw it like that, you can see that we haven't broken out yet. So it all depends on how you draw it. There's so many different ways that you could draw something. Whether you go from the top of the wicks or you want to hug the bodies, it all depends on how you want to do it. But either way, it is looking pretty bullish right now. With this drawing, we'd have to close at 388.89 roughly to get a close outside of it. And that's going to open up the idea of potentially retesting and potentially moving up higher. Of course, it could fall right back into it, just how it's done multiple times. But overall, it is looking incredibly bullish. And on the monthly, this is, aside from this month here, this is the closest we've had to really closing outside of this downward sloping trend line. The last one was over here, November 2021, which was the peak euphoria. These over here have been rejected extremely hard. So this is an incredibly bullish candle right now. Godlike candle, really. And we have 4 days left, so we'll see how it looks in 4 days. Hopefully we don't find rejection. Hopefully we get the close. You need Ethereum to start running if you want the trickle down effect for capital to flow into the smaller altcoins. It's almost like a funnel from Bitcoin to ETH to Solana and XRP, and then all the way down to the meme coins and all of that stuff. You want to see this definitely break out. It could definitely spark some interest for people to start flowing capital through all of crypto. And that takes me to my next point on ETH Bitcoin. When you can look here, you can see that we got to close above this zone here, and now we're bouncing off of it. If I'm not mistaken, this is a golden zone to the downside. This is a bearish pull. So right here, this is indicating as we push up from this move that we could find rejection off this golden zone, 0.5 to 618. So this is a magnet for price, but now it's using that golden zone as a level of support. So it was initially, it's designed to be a rejection zone, but it's acting as support right now. We are holding that level and we wicked off of it, and now we're pushing up higher. So that's a very nice sign to see ETH outperforming Bitcoin. We haven't seen anything like that in a very, very long time. We take a look all the way here. You can see it's been trending downward very hard since September 2022. It's been absolutely just bleeding out. So this is the best month that we've seen by far, aside from this May 2025 month. Every other month has been very, very weak. Even on the green candles, they were very weak. So it is starting to look pretty bullish for crypto in general. Hopefully the trend can continue and capital can flow through all of the coins and get the euphoria going, so we can get that blow off top that we're looking for Bitcoin, MSTR, and all of crypto. We'll see where it takes us. That's all I have for you guys. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe on this video if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.